But yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't. That's how we started. But yeah, I welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host Deontay with my friends Jalen and Josh. Today we're going to be talking about a few topics. A lot of it surrounding Cyberpunk, some of it surrounding Destiny, and those game awards that were very interesting. So that's pretty much the topics we're gonna talk about. But whatever else we throw in there, it's gonna be what's thrown in there. Um, but yeah, just starting off, I always want to check the temperature of the room or your rooms because we're not in the same one. But how y'all doing?
Good. Been playing a lot of Cyberpunk and having a good time. And it's week of school for this semester, so I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, yes sir, yes
Yeah.
sir.
Shit,
What
I'm
about
smooth this
you?
way. Just same old school, and COVID. So I ain't really been playing a lot of games and stuff like that. But I did get Crash Bandicoot. Ooh. But yeah,
Man,
everything good though.
oh that's good. I've been good too. I mean, it's not nothing's really stand out. I mean, celebrate a few birthdays. Oh, I bought most of my Christmas presents now, so that's out the way.
Hmm.
A lot of that crap. I bought Squadrons, Josh. I don't know if I'm gonna actually play it, but I bought it and I got it.
It
But
was on sale
yeah, it was on
somewhere.
sale, and I decided to just grab it. But I was like, am I really gonna play this? So I haven't unwrapped it yet, but um,
Well, good thing you don't have to. It's on the 10-hour trial on Game Pass. Like you can play that if you like it, just throw the disc in. But
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
otherwise you
yeah.
can take it back.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's right, that's right. Um, and then what else? I we got that's what we got. Oh, the Christmas present. I got Mama TV, which was interesting trying to get the logistics on how to get it to her because for some reason shipping now around the world is very very slow. Have y'all like tried to buy something lately and just like I bought Cyberpunk 2077 physically and it still ain't came and it's Sunday. And I was just like that's when I bought it, digitally, but it still ain't came. Like, have y'all seen any or like bought anything online lately that's like delayed, like any gifts or whatever? Because I know everything of mine has been delayed.
Yeah.
Um, my bad. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, everything. Of course, it's a holiday, so it's slower. But it just, in general, the last few months, it's been slower. Like Amazon usually will offer me like a same day or next day for most stuff. Now it's maybe up to about a week. Like if I want to buy some headphones, maybe 3 or 4 days it's gonna take to get to me.
Yeah,
That's why I still look for places that's nearby that offer same day, like Best Buy. They have like a Postmates type thing where somebody will go pick it up from Best Buy and drop it off to you in like an hour or two. So if that's an
hmm.
option, I'll try to do it. But yeah, shipping been sucky.
Yeah, definitely. I think the same day has been kicking in. You was finna say something, Jalen?
Shoot, no, I was about to say. I did buy something from Amazon. It at the Prime still came through right. But I was at the post office earlier this week, and it was a whole bunch of people in there. It's like a uproar and stuff like that because it was like stuff saying like delivered or stuff taking longer, and it was like glitches in the system, and basically everything was delayed. So it was just kind of, I don't know if it's because like the holidays in addition to like the whole pandemic type of thing, or
Yeah, I'm assuming
what's going on.
it's being like extremely stressed right now because of people sending gifts, people not being able to take stuff anywhere. They have to literally send it now. So it's stressing our mailing system to the max more than likely. A lot of companies are trying to get logistic stuff around. So it's probably the mailing system is probably being stressed to its limits at this point. So a
Yeah,
lot of this
and you
stuff is
already know we don't have the best mail system in the U.S.
no, we don't. So at least the UK they robbing folks for their PS5s. We ain't had
Oh
like
yeah.
outpour of that yet because we not really. But yeah, people getting robbed of their stuff. That's crazy. But yeah,
Well,
Oh,
a lot of places don't even do signatures now. Well, in my place, like you don't ever have to sign for like FedEx and stuff, but
hmm
usually, like if they're bringing you a PS4, you got somebody got to sign for it. But now because of COVID, a lot of companies don't even bother with it in some areas, so they just drop your package. Like I was listening to somebody podcast where it was like, oh, they dropped my Xbox outside the apartment, like on the curb, and my neighbor picked it up for me.
man, yeah, I don't
that's
know.
messed up.
That is messed up, and it's like it's getting So hey, that's why I was saying logistically because we wasn't gonna get the TV in time or whatever, so we had to figure out how to somebody go pick it up and stuff like that because it was gonna be easier to do it that way than to have it sent.
Hmm.
So it's just a lot of like stuff that I've been dealing with because of like the COVID and like pandemic and all that.
Uh,
Um,
I was gonna say that the mail. Oh yeah, the mail person did tell me they were operating at like 30% capacity. So like if they had 100 trucks out there, they only got like 30% of them out, and they days been like real long. Like the mail be like delivering at like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
yeah, ours is definitely coming later and later by the day. Which is it's not like terrible. I don't care, but it's like maybe some people are expecting stuff in the mail. Some people get mail delivery medicine and stuff like that. So it's kind of like important. Like we still haven't received our tags for our vehicle registration, and it's been like a week and a half now, and they're supposed to get it to us in 7 to 10 business days. But so I mean, I guess it's still on time. So hopefully it comes sooner than later. But I don't think people are checking anyway because of the pandemic. What else was new? One of my sisters got COVID. Um, she she doing okay, but it's weird. I didn't expect somebody in my family to get it, but she seems to be doing fine. Um, my mom's act. She's I don't know what's going on with her actually. I ain't gonna say too much. I ain't gonna expose her, but she just been having I've been having interesting conversations with my mom lately, and it's like this COVID and like pandemic stuff has made it very like you just start reflecting on a lot of stuff you I guess probably wouldn't have if you didn't have to slow down. So I would say that if you're reflecting on your like life and things like that, and you're reflecting on relationships and stuff like that, keep it light. Keep it light. Don't dwell too much into it. I think it's everything happens for a reason, and I leave it at that. So if you are one of those, um, yeah, keep it light. That's my motto. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me. I ain't really got much else going on outside of I didn't put in some serious time into Cyberpunk. Like I said, I took time off of work, and I've been having a good time, and and like for some reason I'm not tired of it yet. And I was literally just playing it before I jumped on here, and I'm literally gonna play it right after I jump off of here. And yeah, so
Man, I thought we was playing Destiny after this.
you talking about that stanky banner right now? Man, I was playing Iron Banner, and I don't know it's fun, but I mean Iron Banner has never been fun. I guess it's just been it's been I guess tolerable at this point. But yeah,
Water or doodle water.
yeah, man, I think it's tolerable. It's a means to an end. That's what I call Iron Banner. Um, but yeah, we're gonna talk about Destiny a little bit. We're gonna talk about Cyberpunk a lot of bit because that's really what I've been playing, and I know Josh was playing that a lot, and I know the internet is talking, so I know hopefully Jalen has scrolled through some things to see what the internet is speaking on about this game. If maybe it's just a meme or so, and the memes are talking. So maybe
You talking about the thing you can. Only thing I seen on there is that you can like customize your wee size.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, if that hold relevancy to the game, I mean that's fine, but I wouldn't. I know this is going off a little off topic, but somebody's like, would you make your wee size smaller if you? I'm just being cordial. Your penis size smaller if it made you run faster in the game, like enhance your mobility, kind of like a Dark Souls thing. Or would you want it to? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shoot, make that microscopic. Nah.
I'm trying to have full armor set for mid roll.
Yeah, I'm trying to maximize my usage in this game, but if it needs to be smaller for me to be more effective in the game, I mean, shoot, it ain't me.
So you unlock fast roll.
That's how you run at the speed of light.
You got to do this, but you ain't gonna be able to do the fast roll. Like, man, I don't even care. Let homeboy work it out with what he work it out with. All I need to know is I can fast roll. I mean, I can quick roll, fast roll. That's funny. I ain't even think about that. Like if they actually put stats on that, which again, a lot of that customization is like if you don't like your person you created, you can't like change them at the end. Once you create them, it's over. So you can't or create her. You can't really change what they look like or anything. You can change their clothes, but that's about it. So it's interesting anyway. But no, it doesn't have any stats contributing to it. It, in my opinion, doesn't change anything that happens in the game. I honestly don't understand why it's there, but if they wanted to do that and full nudity and all that stuff in their scenes, that's what they wanted to do. But there was the glitch. There's a glitch going around for Cyberpunk where your genitalia will pop out of your clothes just while you're in the menu screen. So you're just trying to change your gun, and all you see is fly is not open, but you see it, man. And I was like, why is this game so glitchy? But yeah, I seen that one. That was probably the funniest one because people were getting their stream shut down for that stuff.
Dang, for real?
Yeah, I think the only the highest person I've seen that like a huge streamer was PewDiePie. I think he had got his stream shut down for that happening.
What you mean it got shut down? Like
it's like they stopped the stream for the nudity. Yeah.
How did like do they do it like instantly or like
probably somebody had to report it more than likely.
Yeah, because Twitch rule on it is like if it's featured in the game, it's fine. Like nudity is a part of the game. But if you're like focusing on it or like that's what your camera been on like the whole time or something, then they say like they'll take you down. So somebody must have reported it, and the person, or if it's automatic or whatever, they took him down.
Yeah, but he's on YouTube, so I'm not sure what the rules.
Oh yeah,
are
YouTube is different. I don't know about YouTube. Yeah. That's why they do have the you can turn it off, but I haven't seen any in this game like with nudity on YouTube.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things happening in that game, I would say, and that's like that's like the most. That's like probably the smallest thing about the game at this point. No pun intended, but it's like the not even that important. So I'm not sure why it's there, but I mean that's what they wanted to do. I believe it was more so a factor of, but I don't understand the big and small thing. It's like you could just say, do you want to have your character have a vagina or a penis? And that's it. But it was kind of like, oh, do you want it big, small? Like, what is it going to do? Is it going to make the bulge? Like, I don't understand the whole concept of it. And I'm not finna deep dive into why they put the penis, the arc in there, but whatever. But it was just interesting. And then because that's the first thing you kind of see with your character creation. So you're like, okay, what am I in for here? And it's not really that
Mm-hmm.
bad. So I'm just like, I'm not sure why they did that. So yeah, interesting stuff. Um, I guess we can start with Cyberpunk's our impressions. Um, and go from there. But
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is, it came out. You and I have been playing it on the next gen consoles, so had a decent experience. A
yeah,
lot of people haven't had a good experience because of the console that they're playing on.
yeah,
But for me, of course there are like glitches, but they've mostly been like graphical glitches, like
mm-hmm,
NPCs not being in places where they're supposed to be,
yep,
and otherwise, I just been enjoying the story because that's the main thing that I liked about it at first. Like, obviously it's a lot of talking, but like I enjoy the conversations and the plot. Um, and when you finally get out of the conversations and out to explore the world, like it's big. It looks very dense, and like you can really see their vision for the world because it different than a lot of other open world games in a good way.
yeah.
So I just enjoy that part of it. Um, yeah, I haven't finished the story yet. I know that you finished it a lot sooner,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been doing a lot of the like important character side quests.
Yeah.
Those have been pretty good, and I guess after I finish enough of them, I'll go ahead and finish the story. I think I'm more than halfway done.
Yeah.
Um, about
Mm-hmm.
you?
Yeah. First impressions when I first started playing it, I was, I would start by saying like I didn't enjoy some things a lot, but after a while, stuff started opening up for me, and it started to become more interesting. Like my first impression was, okay, they gave me all of these options to play like how I want to, and but I don't use any of it. It's like I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't craft. I don't check out my specs that often for like hacking abilities. I don't look at my crit damage. I like you literally have to play that game on hard to really enjoy every aspect of the minutia of all the like the extra stuff that they come around it, because really at the end of the day I just started playing like a first person shooter. Story is great, but the stuff that's come after that, when you start getting into the harder stuff to do, that's when I really started to enjoy the combat more than enjoying the story. Because at first it was just all story driven, and the combat was just like, I don't really want to do this, but I do it because it's there. Because it didn't feel like I'm used to playing games like Destiny, and Destiny has really good, first person gameplay. Their animations in Cyberpunk were great. Everything felt great. It just when you started to shoot and like really handle your weapons, it seemed off. So after me beating it the first time and going and just playing all the extra stuff around the world, that's when I really started to see, okay, if I put this stat in here right now, I can get better crit damage headshots, so I don't have to like sit there and like kill this bullet sponge for hours. I can just kill him really quickly. As I haven't run into like that that difficult task yet. At least my first playthrough where I had to switch up my tactics, but when playing it from a different lens of, okay, I'm done now, let me just play the extra stuff, put it on hard difficulty, and then I started to see, okay, you need to pay attention to this. If you want to be sneaky, that's great because it makes the situation a lot easier. It was so many things that I just started doing differently because the level of difficulty spiked versus where it was previously. I think they did that for a reason. They wanted people to actually finish the story, but I think it
Mm-hmm.
kind of hurt my playthrough the first time. I wish I played on hard the entire time than actually playing on normal, because normal just felt like a cakewalk, and it felt like I was just mindlessly shooting at stuff just to get to the next thing versus really enjoying the gameplay for what it is. Like Like I finally got my mantis blades. I finally got the gorilla arms. I got so much stuff now that I could just like change up my tactics on how I want to fight. Like I have like a katana where it gives like 1,000. Like I got 100% crit ratio of me critting something or putting too much. You know, hitting it in a way where it basically just one hits everything. So it's stuff that I was finding and stuff that I was using that kind of made the game more enjoyable, and it started to feel more of that Witcher feel than it was just a average shooter. I'm just running around in, just looking for the next story bit, and then I started. That's when it started to do it. So I'm looking forward to playing it again with the next gen update on very hard and just playing it fresh and just going on through it again and seeing how it feels different than what I played it the first time, because obviously I'm gonna have to really try to, if I hope that that's what's going to happen, where it seems that I have to really think about my encounters before it happens, because I didn't feel like I had to think about my encounters. So that's my
Yeah.
initial impressions, like that first part of it when I first played it through the first time. Playing through it now, I can see, okay, this makes sense. The crafting makes sense. If I spec out crafting, it's much cheaper to make these weapons and buy these parts than it is to just try to go find good weapons. So I might spec out my crafting a little bit more. It made sense. It started to go to each vendor to try to get, each of the, the blueprints or whatever you want to call them, to try to find better blueprints to make better stuff. So that's when it started to make sense and everything started to intertwine. And when I really wanted to just explore the world and see what everything that they had to offer, versus not happening during my actual playthrough, because I was enjoying the story a lot more. I wasn't really exploring in a way where it made me branch out, because there wasn't any big it wasn't any big blocks in the way where I had to tackle it certain way, or if I had to wait and try to get something. There was only one instance where they made you kind of do a hard stop and go explore the world to kind of continue to move forward. But outside of that, really, if you were able to shoot good enough and you had enough healing items, you're fine. You could just get through it. So that's why I thought, I was like, I beat this pretty quickly, and I didn't expect to beat it. I think I clocked in and beat it at the 22-hour mark. And I thought I did a lot of the side quest stuff, but apparently I didn't do anything. So, um,
Yeah.
I'm at 58 hours now, and I've done a lot. So it's just, and I still have a lot more to go. So that's what
hmm
I'm really enjoying about it. And yeah, that would be my initial impressions of said game. Seems pretty
Yeah, for
it's pretty good.
me, or for a lot of people, I think we'll probably touch on is the game does have problems, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think the main thing is what they marketed it as and what the game actually is, and a lot of people impressions. Because like when you look at the game, like they say it's a open world RPG, and
Mhm.
like it's a big city, so you might think of something like GTA. It's a
Mhm.
first shooter, so you think of, something like Far Cry with a story, that story driven first person shooter like Far Cry. But it's not really, I say, hitting any of those genres really. Like it has parts of it, but it's not really a open world game like GTA. Like it has open world elements, but it doesn't really compare to the same level as GTA. And the shooting doesn't really compare to the same level as like, I guess Far Cry is okay, but it's not like fully polished
Yeah. I,
shooting.
yeah.
And even with the RPG stuff, like it's a nice RPG, but obviously there are better RPG systems. Like it can kind of get confusing. So basically, your first impression, like when you're out in the game, you don't really know what the game is wanting you to do. Like there's a lot of dialogue.
Mhm.
The shooting is not the best. The driving is not the best. So it's kind of feel like you don't know what to expect from it. After you keep playing, you might settle on a more better picture of how you should play the game or how you like to play the game.
Mhm.
Like you say, you enjoy the shooting now. Um, I think that's maybe a problem with it. There are some things that they could have given. more up front. Like there's a like I've been trying to do some stealth, like as much as I can. Not everything, but like I'll sneak through, probably take out a couple of enemies, and then when I get found, I'll start shooting at people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the beginning stealth is not good because it's either you're walking slow and then they see you and then they start shooting at you. But there are upgrades that you can get that like slow down time when somebody see you, and you get more hacking abilities, so you can make it so they when they notice you, they forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that stuff changes the game, which is good. That gives the RPG elements like life. But I think some of those might have been better as like the default abilities or like the first ability that you can unlock because that makes the gameplay better. Um, but yeah, for me, I've just basically felt like it's a bigger Deus Ex game. Like I know a lot of people haven't played it, but Deus Ex has like a little city that you can go walk around in. You can go inside apartments and look around for stuff. But it's mainly the combat that was very similar because you can shoot, but like I say, it's not the best first person shooter, so it's a little better when you use those other elements to make it easier. So hacking as to complement your shooting ability or whatever. Like me, I've been using a lot of the smart guns just because
Yeah.
I like them and they're just really unique weapons. And you don't really have to worry about your aim because it's a smart gun. As long as you point it in their direction, it's gonna hit them.
Right.
And you can pump stats into crit and headshots and things like that to make it better. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of depth to it. Um, it's just probably not as accessible for a lot of people, and I think that's why a lot of people might not enjoy it. It's of course with the other glitches and stuff, just because once you actually get into the game, you'll enjoy it. But
Yeah, I wanted to
uh,
kind of separate the two because glitches are, oh boy, but I wanted to separate just core
well, there are
gameplay from
some
the that.
gameplay glitches too.
No, they are. I'm not going to deny that. I'm just more so want to talk about that. Those the systems that's in place and how
Yeah.
even if you get past all the glitches and stuff that's happening, what all right, what is there to see once they patch everything, once they fix everything, what is left, what is the core of the game? In my
Hmm.
opinion, I think you should play it on either hard or very hard if you really want to see and make them have you do everything. But at the same time, you get this satisfaction of going through the game, and at the end of it, you're becoming like that embodiment of some very tough merc or whatever that you can really take on anything because the world reacts to you in that way. There's plenty of side missions and things where I just ended it because I was tough enough to get an option, or I was tough enough to say this thing that I did, and they just left me alone. So it was stuff like that that
Hmm.
kind of makes you feel satisfied in growing with your character and having like that difficult time at the beginning, but at the end you kind of have that it's not like, I'm not saying difficulty in like not difficult in like combat or like going through it, but it's more so difficult time, and you don't have all the expansive tools that you probably want at the beginning to kind of tackle different things, and the variety there, that variety
Yeah.
doesn't come until after, and that variety is my, if that's important to you, um then yeah, it may be where this game will, it's gonna make you pick one. It's gonna make you pick either being a gun hole, it's gonna make you pick being like a crafter and being able to craft a lot, or it's gonna make you pick a hacker and you're gonna be able to hack a lot. So there's no like good mix until you start getting to the end game and you start getting done with everything. But I think, I'm not sure if it's okay or if I just feel better about it because now that I'm done with it. Because if I was still in that spot and I felt like, well, I gotta do all this extra stuff just to be able to get this, I think you're just making tough decisions throughout the game, and that's what makes it kind of more personal when you get something else. It's because you
Hmm.
made a tough decision on whether or not you're going to spec out this portion of it. If you're going to spec out your intelligence, your strength, I think making those decisions kind of helped me feel like, okay, this feels like something I would want my character to be at this point. Now he's well rounded, but at first I was just specking out strength and technology, and I was specking out these things, and I couldn't really do. I had to figure out and wait. So a lot of the things would happen, and I'd be like, okay, this option is available now. I'm going to wait and not use my points until an option becomes available that I want to do, and then I spec them out the way I want. That's what I was doing. I was reacting to the world versus playing it how I wanted to play it. So if the world said, okay, you need 10 intelligence or whatever to open this door to get in this building, instead of me already having it at 10, I just have a bunch of spec points just stored in case I want to take that option. I wouldn't spend it unless it came into my face, and it's something like that happened. So that kind of, it's not a good design because it feels like I'm not making those decisions until something is presented in front of me. Versus giving that player that option at the beginning to just play how they want to play. There's always ways to get into something different, and there's always ways to get something done. But sometimes you want to see what happens if you did it this way, if it's easier to just go through this door, if it's easier to have this type of conversation and this dialogue happen, what happens. So that's kind of what my curiosity kept getting piqued. So I would just wait and I wouldn't spend it on stuff until I knew for sure this would be a meaningful spend, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing, and I think for when people like new players play the game, like hard might be more fulfilling, but I think because of the systems in place are not like clear, it's probably better to just start on normal because once you learn the game, like there are a lot of ways you can get into a building. Like you can have 10 strength to open the door or intelligence to hack something, or you can get the double jump and like jump on the building and find like an open door or something like that.
Right.
But you won't know that stuff, and there's no way to know that like the first 10 hours because you're going to need a lot of money to buy those upgrades or experience to level up or street cred to unlock stuff. So I think it'll be a struggle on hard to like try to learn all that stuff. It might be fulfilling, but it's just not clearly laid out or like a simple like this is your skill tree and like stealth shooting and something else. Like it's spread out over like 20 skill trees, and so you really gotta get in depth with that stuff.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on that now. I don't know.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but for me, I'll put it this way: I like the I forget what they're called, attributes. Like you said, like you need 10 strength to open the door. Like that stuff is cool. It gives you different ways to interact with the level or different conversation skills. Like if you're a strong person, like that can give you an extra dialogue option and scare somebody away from wanting to fight you or something like that. Whereas I don't really like the actual perks where they're like the 15 different skill trees that give you +5 speed and stuff like that. Some of them are good, like sprint without using stamina. Other one are small like incremental improvements that are not really necessary. And also they're locked behind certain tiers of upgrades. Like if you want the best sprinting without using stamina, you got to put 20 points in the body or something like that. And that limits you of how you play, which will be good in RPG, but it there's no real experimentation. Like you really got to commit to that stuff because the respec costs
$100,000.
Yeah, $100,000, and like that's not easy money to come by.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so I think they could have been more flexible with that. But overall, like I say, it doesn't really matter unless you really want to go deep into all the systems. Like the game is not difficult, and there are enough options to do whatever to get through the situation. So even if you put your points in something that you don't use, it's wasted, but it doesn't like make you unable to beat the game or something. because it's
Right.
still flexible enough. And the main story and the side quests are, I say, pretty varied that you don't really need a lot of you don't really need to specify one thing because like not every
Yeah.
quest makes you shoot at people, so you don't have to really spec your points into shooting if you don't really want to or need to.
Right. I think that's the key, I guess, is that balance, because even though I was left with a little bit of more wanting more of a a difficult task at hand, maybe it'd be best for me to run through it again on very hard with my stuff that I currently have, so I can play and choose how I want to tackle things. But at the same token, that's not really what it's meant, and that's not how they meant for you to play it, kind of deal. I don't think there's not a new game plus at this point, so it's really just playing through the story, playing through the side missions, playing through the quests, and going from there. But yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it a lot. I think I am still enjoying it a lot, and now I'm
Yeah,
I'm just enjoying it more because I just have more of options to deal with things and how to get to stuff. I have the double jump and stuff like that, so it's kind of just giving me more ways of just tackling things, and that variety. When that variety starts to sit in, maybe having that at the beginning of the game is not really that beneficial because you're trying to get pushed through certain things, and you want to have that the experience is supposed to feel like you're coming up versus just already having everything. So I would rather
yeah,
it kind of makes sense to not have all that stuff and all those options until you kind of start to explore the world and you're at the end game kind of deal. Technically, end game. It's not really an end game. It's kind of just the rest of the stuff you have to you're doing now.
yeah. You will progress over time and get a lot better, and the gameplay gets more involved, and there is a lot of depth for some things.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I think
but the
that's
main
for
thing
sure.
that people will, I guess, like keep playing for is the story and the characters.
Yeah,
Um, I think they have really good. They have always had it. They had it good in The Witcher 3, but really good facial animation. And I think that even though I prefer third-person games, they've done a really good job with like the animation in first person. Like it feels more immersive. Like your character, like you can see their whole body most of the time, like your arms and stuff.
yeah,
So it doesn't feel like you're just a floating camera. They do a lot more to make it seem more interactive, um, and that helps with the story because um, it's story heavy. Like they talk a lot. There are a lot of quests that are really just riding around with people, listening to conversations and stuff like that.
yeah,
But it gets really interesting, I think, and especially the thing that I liked was the story side quests, because I think a lot of people have a hard time figuring out which quests are like important or not. Like all the police quests don't really matter,
hmm,
and all the like random quests don't really matter. Just go in there, shoot the guy, and you get the money. But
yeah,
the story characters that like call you like, hey, are you busy? Can you come help me with something?
yeah,
Like when you go actually see them, it's pretty much the same quality as the main story quests. Like you still go into like the brain dance sections, which are like dreams or like flashbacks, but you can like interact with them and see what
yeah,
happened in this character's life. And there are multiple quest lines that get pretty interesting and go places. And I think some of them have impacts on what ending you get. Like I obviously I haven't finished it, but I do know that certain side quests can unlock different endings if you do them.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
so that's what I've been doing, just going around, exploring the world, enjoying all these different interconnected stories.
yeah. I think
Because I think that's what they're best at.
yeah, yeah. I think that's really one of the better place things there is that interconnective story, and like I remember doing something in the game, and like something else, like I reacted to it, and I never thought this small thing would react to this and like change this, but it was something very minuscule, something very small. I did it, didn't even think about it, and it came up in a like a bigger side storyline later on, and I had no idea that that would happen. So it just felt like it was a lot of interconnection and the small things that they did. Um, I do wish, because I played a lot of it. I do wish there was a little bit more, but I feel like um there's these things that you'll see and like you'll hear that kind of make you feel like, yes, this world is like they're talking behind your back. They're talking to other things. They're not just talking to you. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
makes it feel more grounded in the world. I will. I can't say that I wish it was a little bit more of that, but that's what they are. That's what most of the story and all that stuff is for. A lot of the people that's kind of interconnected, knowing like some of the other characters and they popping up in the side storylines of other characters in the game, and it all just feels like a very connected feel. It just feels like you just want to know everything because everybody knows something more than and they know something more about the world or something more about the character. So you just start exploring stuff and you just start seeing like other NPCs pop up in random events in the city, and you like, how'd you get here? And you kind of talk about stuff that happened in the other storyline. So some of that,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that stuff happens in the game, and it's very interesting to watch because you wouldn't think they'd take the time to do that but on top of everything else. But they do, obviously, because they did it in The Witcher. But this is something that I feel like they definitely fleshed out a storyboard a lot, in my opinion. Like a lot of these changing arcs and these quest lines and
Yeah.
stuff that happens. So it definitely feels like it feels reactive. Even if it may not be that way underneath the hood, it feels that way when you're playing it, and that's the most important thing. How does it feel to you? So um,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a lot of the dialogue choices and stuff like that are interesting. um,
Yeah. And I do like that well, two things, but I do like the when you complete a quest, like the people involved in it, like it might be the person who asked you for help, but there are other
mm-hmm,
people involved in the quest. And what makes the world feel more interactive, I guess, is that the person who gave you that quest, like they'll continue to ask you for help, but the people that you interacted with along the way unlock more, and they're completely separate, and they further connect to other characters. So it feels like there are a lot of connections there in the world,
mm-hmm.
even if it's small, but you can really see them in like the side quest and the main story. So it doesn't feel like you're just off separate in the world helping somebody do something.
Yeah.
Um, and like, I think the main thing is like there's a lot of things that I do wish was there that's not there. Like you can't customize your car. Like I at least want to change the color of some of them and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But the main thing is the world is there, the writing is there, the characters are there. So I want more of the game. Like they're gonna have more DLC and expansions in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for the potential, like what's there. Like I don't know if you can get the armor, but I'm pretty sure you can't. Like you can't get the team armor, which is like the first responders or like EMTs, but they have AK-47s and like armor when they go save somebody and put them on a defibrillator. But like their armor is nice and you can't get it. So, but that can be a potential where they can explore a whole storyline with them if they want to do that. So I'm looking
True.
forward to that stuff at least. More updates, obviously for fixes, but like I enjoy the game enough that I want to play more of it.
Yeah, and that's the most important part of it, I guess. But we again, yeah, you're right. We do have to talk about, which we're gonna talk about here pretty quickly. But is those glitches, people? The glitches that's in that game
Mm-hmm.
are substantial, to say the least. They're not, and they're not game breaking. At least not for me. I've played 58 hours. I have run into 6 game breaking bugs where I had to. They're not game breaking, but where I had to stop the game and restart it to continue, or if if a quest line wouldn't continue forward and I had to reload a save. I had to really count, and I was like, I had six,
Mm-hmm.
where that has occurred. Where the game has simply just cut off on me, that has been four, and just random glitches and weird stuff happening where you would just somebody would stand up, sit back down, they T stand in the car. That has happened quite a bit. Probably in the 400 to 500s. No, probably like the 300s, the 400s. That's how it happened, where it was just some type of graphical glitch on the screen. It can happen when it's trying to be immersive, but most of the time it happen. Most of the time it happens when you're just in the world, um, and sometimes like you can have it where an NPC's phone is just floating right next to their hand, and it's not actually in their hand; it's floating in there, like next to it. So those immersive experiences that you're seeing, but you're like, okay, but this chick got a whole phone just next. It'd be looking goofy. So, um, I have to say that. I mean, even with the patches that they came out with, it's still there. I haven't had any hard crashes to the to my on my Series X since that patch has come out, so that's good. But again, I played about 47 hours or 40 to 44 hours before I put that patch on. So the last, 18 or so has been pretty good for no like hard crashes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I only had 3 or 4 of those, but they did occur. So I just want to make you aware. You don't want to be in the middle of a long quest. I mean, quick saves are amazing, and the auto saves are amazing. So you have points you can get back to, but you don't want to be in the middle of something and then it just crashed on you. It's just disappointing. So, um, yeah, I think it has to be said. Um, Glitches and performance are a substantial issue right now. And I guess you could talk about your graphical issues that you may have ran into or anything like that before we move into performance.
Yeah, same thing. Somebody smoking a cigarette and it it's not in their hand; it's just floating in front of their face and stuff like that. And that can be distracting, in like story cutscenes if it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that type of stuff, I say it happens pretty regularly. Like one out of every five cutscenes, like something might go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then of course when you're out in the open world, just NPCs doing weird stuff that shouldn't happen or stuff like that. Um, those never really bother me unless it's like a story one. Like I know they're like important cutscenes that people had, and like glitches ruin the experience. Like I would probably restart the quest or something like that if that happened. But well, thankfully, my experience has been pretty smooth, with like playing it. I haven't had any too big issues. Um, there are just a lot of small things that add up. Um, like there, uh, like with the inventory, like some stuff, like you try to open it and it lags or doesn't open, or you start a conversation and it doesn't start talking. You got to redo it.
Right, like
Um,
pressing inputs twice, like for selecting
yeah,
destination on the fast travels, is like it never opens on the first try. You gotta hit it
yeah,
twice.
you got to do it twice just to get into that menu and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, I had two crashes. They were just really random. I wasn't really doing anything, but it at least happened on the Series X. But it's been pretty stable for me for the most part.
Okay.
But I've mostly played on the pre um, uh, new patch. After that, it's been pretty okay. I haven't had any like huge uh, gameplay breaking things, other than like one quest where I was in the mall. When you go to the voodoo area,
Oh.
and like it just wouldn't open the door so I can leave, so I had to quit the game and go back in. Because reload the save, that doesn't actually reload the
Yeah,
entire world.
it just
Like
reloads the
doors, if they're
state.
stuck,
Yeah,
they'll
they're
still stay stuck.
stuck.
So you got to quit the game and go back in.
Yeah.
And I did have, well, two glitches. One, I was invincible, but I also couldn't do any damage to anybody. So I had to quit the game and come back in. And the other one that I did take advantage of is the infinite money glitch for a little bit.
Infinite
Um,
money.
oh, you didn't hear about this one?
Nah,
I
man.
didn't send it to you because you be up on all these glitches. But when you're in the voodoo area and it's that boss that you fight, um, if you kill the boss, the game automatically auto saves when you kill the boss. But what you need to do is reload the game, and their body is still on the floor. They're technically like knocked out, but if you hit them, they'll die, and you'll get $30,000 for doing that. Save, reload again. They're back on the floor. They're in the knockdown, defeated state, but you can hit them again and kill them, and you'll get that money drop and experience drop. So a lot of people did that a couple times because you can keep doing it because you've already beat them, but they haven't despawned or anything, and you can technically keep hitting them for the rewards. And I think the point of that is because you don't have to kill that boss. You can like spare them,
Hmm.
but when you reload the save, it keeps them in that pre-killed state, so you can just keep killing them and getting the reward for it.
And the reward would stay there. It wouldn't if you. So how do you like? Oh, so like I'm trying to figure out how do you keep the money going up if you're reloading
Yeah,
that
so
state.
that's the thing. Like, when you so like you beat them the first time,
Uh
they're
huh.
on the ground, and you what you do is just save the game, and then go hit them, and they'll die.
Hmm.
And when they die, they give you experience, they give you money, they give you street cred.
Hmm.
But if you uh, after you get it, save the game,
Hmm.
and then when you reload, their state in the world goes back before you killed them. So even though you saved the game and you got your money, the NPC resets to before you kill them. It's just how the game loads. So you're
Interesting.
still keeping your money every time, but the NPC just reloads to before then. To like a default state. Their default state is like on the ground but not dead. And so every time you load the game, they're always on the ground but not dead. So you can keep hitting them and keep getting that money.
Interesting.
And all you got to do is after you kill them, save, do it again, save, do it again.
That's funny. Uh, and you keep getting like a bunch of experience too. Okay, well that's an easy way to get it to like the end game. Because I'm still trying to figure out. I have bought one car. I have not bought
Yeah,
any other ones.
I
Uh,
bought a couple cars and I went ahead and bought the most expensive car. It gives you a lot of money. It does give
uh,
you a lot of experience.
uh,
Like I'm still level 25, but it does give you street cred. And so I'm the max for street cred is 50. And I just went ahead and did that because there are quests and items in the shop that unlock
you
only when
get
you
to
have enough street
yeah.
cred. Yeah, so I just went ahead and maxed it out. So I at least can see all my options. I might not be able to equip the stuff, but I can buy it if it's there, so I don't miss it or something.
Gotcha. Okay. No. I didn't know about that. That's hilarious. But I would assume with all the glitches that there was going to be something that pops his rear head or rears head in the world of cyberpunk because man oh man is it hard to earn money. Uh, but I mean
Yeah, people have
doing
been like dismantling stuff to sell it, and like that's cool, but it gives you a small amount of money. So
yeah.
I mean the it's fine. Like I wasn't worried about money, but when you look at all the upgrades, like 100,000 here, or you
Mm-hmm.
want to buy a car, 100,000, and it's like I just don't have this type of money, and it's gonna take forever. Because I want the double jump, but also want to buy another upgrade, so just went ahead and did that, so I at least have more options. Um, you still can't use everything. Like money doesn't solve everything. You still got to level up to even use the stuff, but it gives you more options.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna quickly brief on this for like 5 minutes on performance, but performance is pretty much trash on everything outside of the new systems. Even the
Yeah.
PS5 dwindles. Xbox One is terrible. Xbox One S is terrible. Xbox One X terrible. It's not terrible on Xbox One X, but it's not great and it's not worth playing it on. In my
Yeah.
opinion, PS4 Pro trash. PS4 trash. Anything under a 30 series or 20 series card, graphics card, any of the AMD cards, trash. So it's really been a bad situation for everybody that's really trying to play this game that's not on the highest tier, and that sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks. But it was marketed for a last gen game, but really, honestly, and truly, this is not a last gen game, and obviously the performance shows that. So if you have a
Yeah.
last generation console and you can't get a new one, don't play this game yet. I would rather you just wait when they have all the patches out. And if you still can't afford to get a new one, try it at that point. But it's running at like 15 frames per second, people. I don't know who in their right mind would want to
Honestly,
play that way.
I enjoy it, but for like Jalen, if you don't get a PS5 in the next year, I would just say like don't play the game. Like it still is a good game, but there's a lot that you would miss, or there's a lot that would be compromised in order to just play it. And I think it might be better to just wait, because like graphically, it's gonna look better on the old systems in a couple months, but it's still not gonna be even close to what
The
the
PC
game's
is getting,
supposed to look like.
yeah.
Like even the new systems, they don't look like it. Like they don't have ray tracing or anything like that. But at least it's close enough. You don't have to worry about um,
Frame
loading
drops.
too much and frame rate and stuff like that. So you can at least enjoy what's here. And when you play the next gen patch, that's even better. But for last gen people, like it takes forever to load the game. NPCs take forever. They got less NPCs. Um, like lights and textures and reflections are lower. So it's like overall everything is just like worse in
Ugly.
every way. So it's not even worth it to do it. Like
Play
it
it
runs
on.
at 720p on the PS4. Like it's not really how you want to experience the game. Like you don't need 4K 68 with ray tracing to enjoy it, but better than what is there. So personally, I would say just wait.
Which
Um,
I'm extremely surprised by because Red Dead Redemption 2 ran really well on a lot of those old gen consoles. And
mhm.
that's a game that really put a lot of emphasis on. I mean, as it wasn't as advanced or boundary pushing as this game is, but it definitely still had a lot going in there, and it still scaled accordingly. This game, I don't know if
Yeah,
they didn't scale it accordingly, but it looks terrible. I can't say blame it all on those old machines because those old machines ran games like Final Fantasy VII Remake. They ran games like Red Dead Redemption 2. They ran games that really, Uncharted 4, Last of Us Part 2. They pushed some of these games were pushing the graphical fidelity of these systems. I think
yeah.
Cyberpunk
Ghost of
has some,
Tsushima came out on
yeah,
the same system. You know.
yeah. I think it's something we have to say that Cyberpunk at the end of the day is not optimized properly, but I don't think they should have wasted their time, honestly, on those older consoles because
Yeah,
it seemed as if they were pushing boundaries and then they started to go back. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like it went from down to up. It went from up to down, and as you can see,
hmm
the result of going up to down. That's basically what you saw when you moved from the when people started making games for the Xbox One, and then they were making smaller versions for the 360. That's what you'll see. Versus if you're going from down to up, you'll start to see like going from the Xbox One S version to the Xbox One X version. That's the down from to up, and that kind of scales, and you allow you to get data 4K and 30 frames per second. But
yeah.
yeah,
There
really, really,
there's
really
a lot
bad
of
game.
optimization that should be done, I think, for at least to make the last gen game more playable. You know, a stable 30 FPS, and I don't know if they can push the resolution, but they should at least aim for higher so that at least players have a baseline experience, like it's not jumping all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's some things that either are just poorly optimized or just can't
Run it.
work well on the OS, so they might have to just take it out. Like the game has a lot of reflections, and you might just have to take it out of the game. But it really makes a difference, especially for like the characters. Like they're not gonna look as natural without it, but it might make the game run better. So there are a lot of compromises that might be had. Ultimately, it's not the system's fault. I would say like CD Projekt Red should have put more work into it,
More
and
effort, yeah.
I don't know if it was too much work or if they COVID or too much crunch or whatever, but if they didn't deliver what they really promised, because obviously the game was made on PC first, and then they made the console version, but it didn't seem like they cared about the console version.
Yeah. And then they
Yeah,
tried to hide it, which really sucks. But um we I mean, what I'll say here is if you have the console versions, turn off film grain, turn off chroma app, whatever that's called. Turn off that one, turn off film grain, turn off motion blur, and there is a setting for driving that makes the driving more tighter. I believe it's called the horizontal shift, or like I believe that's
it's
what it's called.
recommended curve.
Yeah, recommended
Um,
curve on that. It's I forget the name of it, but there's some things that you can do to make the driving feel much better. You want to look that up on Reddit, and then there's just those turning those things off because it just adds, it just becomes super blurry. So if you have a Series X or a PS5, I say turn those off. And after that, if you have one of the older versions, I just say don't play it. Be honest, it's not going to be a good experience for you. And that game is meant to be immersive and graphically and like emotionally, and like having like these conversations with stuff trying to filter in, or it's like being low res and not having everything pop. It just doesn't make sense to play it, in my opinion, at this time.
yeah, because there are a lot of games that are going to come out in the next few months for last gen. I feel like performance is just going to get worse because overall companies are just probably going to care less about optimizing. Like Watch Dogs runs trash on last gen, and that came
Yeah.
out before the new systems came out. But for this game, it's just doing so much more than even a Watch Dogs game that
Hmm.
it's not really worth it to like struggle through it for the compromises that's there. Like Watch Dogs, the characters are not really good. Like their voices don't match like your main character,
Hmm.
and they glitch all over the place. But that's expected from it. But for this, it's kind of needed to have that smooth graphical performance to enjoy the game.
Right. So Cyberpunk got a lot of work to do, and we trust that. I trust at least that they're going to have it fixed. But you got they're going to have some time, and they're going to have to sit down and actually fix their
Yeah,
game.
it might take a long time.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that the game is good. I can understand people like not everyone to play it again. I think if you had a bad experience right now, it's better get a refund if you can and wait until the game is ready because it just came out in a state that it wasn't ready, and it might take a couple more months.
Probably more than that. Probably like 6, 7 months,
Yeah,
in my opinion. Then they're probably gonna push out their first DLC probably in December of next year, maybe. But
yeah.
they're probably gonna
I think
focus on
that
the
would probably
next
be a
gen
good time to
upgrades.
jump in though. Like once
Yeah,
they have that, oh, the first expansion is out. That gives you a good amount of time to fix all the patches and get people back into the game.
right. But I'm happy. I'm still happy with my purchase. I think because I'm playing on the Series X. But one thing that we do want to talk about as well before we go is a game that actually was optimized properly and worked out the gate and didn't have
Finally,
any issues. And that
well,
is
it
Death
got
Star.
issues.
It don't have no issues. Not issues. You talking about issues that you about the game that you don't like.
Issues
We're not.
that's been there since
No, 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 no.
2013, but okay.
We're talking about simple and understandable options in game that have been drastically improved due to
Yeah.
optimization and improvement. That's all. So Destiny 2.
Uh,
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Give him his praises, Josh. Go ahead.
um, yeah. I was impressed for the next gen update for Destiny 2 because the expansion came out last month. We played it.
Hmm.
You know, for me, I thought it was similar to previous expansions, a little bit better, but not quite there. And when I didn't expect much from the new patch, but it makes a difference. So for next gen, it's high resolution, 60 FPS by default, and you have the option to go up to 120. But the thing that made a bigger difference for me is the field of view slider for the game.
Hmm.
You can go up to like 105
Yep.
because it used to be like 70 or something.
Yeah.
And that plus the frame rate makes a huge difference because like you're just more responsive and you can see like 30-40% more of the world on the screen. Like I thought it would
Right.
be like a minor increase, but like no, you can see like 2-3 buildings in your peripheral that you couldn't see before, and it's like it
Yeah.
makes a difference in that game.
It definitely makes a difference in Destiny. It's probably the most game. It's the biggest game that I've ever seen field of view make a huge difference. Because simply how much you're in third person, how much you're actually roaming and looking for enemies. Uh, it's just way better. It's basically the PC experience on console form, and the good thing about the console is you don't have to deal with the cheaters. You can play the game in Crucible and not feel like somebody's hacking, because it's much more difficult, or at least much more security on the systems than it is on the PC. So that's really a good thing about it. And a lot of people, in which I have seen, a lot of people are just deciding to come back to the console just because of these upgrades. That's how big of a change it is. It's really like if you have a PS5, if you have a Series X, and you don't play Destiny and you haven't played in a while, I think this upgrade is definitely what it needed. It puts it back in the space of having a similar experience on both versus having this outlier of consoles being weaker or consoles not having the best experience. It puts it right back up there. It brings the community back together in a better way. Obviously, a lot of people moved over to PC and it kind of broke up how the Destiny community kind of worked. I think because of these upgrades and the ability to now have a viable option to play and have a good experience on console will now bring a little bit more breath to the community, a little bit more togetherness versus elitism, I would call it. But there is definitely some. It's definitely something there now. I would say it's definitely something there. Field of view makes a huge difference. That's the biggest upgrade. 4K was always there, and yeah, it looks prettier, it looks smoother, but that's really because of the field of view. You now can see more, and it seems as if, like, I never noticed how the skyline looked so nice because I was always looking straight forward at solid uh, ice rock. So now I'm on Europa. I'm actually seeing the skybox mixed with the world in like the landscape, and it looks much better. But before I was just looking at nothing but snow and look a couple rocks. So it makes the game appear to be prettier than it was, but it was always that you just couldn't see it, and that was the problem with the previous. So I guarantee you, anybody that ever played that game, you would definitely be blown away by is exactly how what I'm talking about. I moved over to PC for a little bit, but I couldn't deal with all the cheaters. I am huge on PvP, so I just stopped playing it on the PC. Plus, they were just way too. I don't know if it was hackers or if they were just too good for me. But I was doing decent, but I was still playing with controller because I just wanted to play in that way. But now I have an option. I really enjoy it. Iron Banner still sucks, but never felt better. I would say
Yeah.
it's never felt better to play the game. So that I really applaud them for making it work and actually just putting it out there. I mean, Destiny 2 is not the hardest game to run. You can run it at high frame rates on a very decent machine, like a very mid range machine. But I'm just glad that they actually took the time, made the investment, and it just works. It's no problem to it. You don't have to figure anything out. You just put the upgrade in, and it takes advantage of the machine. So kudos to Bungie for actually doing something right.
When you gonna hop in, Jalen? We need
Yeah,
you in that Xbox so we can play 60 FPS.
yeah, Jalen,
Xbox money.
Xbox,
I
exactly.
ain't even
Man,
know. I just ain't. I need a good reason to get them, man. That's 500. 500 for to play the same games, man. I ain't finna do that.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like I said, it's very that's very true. Still at this point, it's
yeah, it's
not
still
like
a big
it's
investment.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's very true. I mean, I wouldn't even tell you to buy it at this point. It's like it's no point really for you to get.
well, yeah, right now,
Yeah,
especially like we talk about every week, the games are not ready. Like they need 6 more months to be ready for the next gen. So it's probably for most people better to just wait where you can go to the store, actually get a PlayStation without fighting with people, and the games are going to be updated and ready at that point.
yeah. And yeah, they'll be more readily available, stuff like that. So I think the smartest thing to do right now is to wait. But because I have it, I'm going to experience the stuff that they got regardless. So I might as well, it's not like because I could have had that experience there, but I mean, I'm going to give kudos and praises to them because simply of doing that. I wonder if they do it to the first Destiny. They'll never do that. If they do that, I just stop playing Destiny 2. I just go back and play Hawk Moon all day. But it just be interesting if they were actually to upgrade old previous Destiny. But they don't
Yeah.
want to do that because they want you to pay for recycled content. Even though they did a lot new, I'm not going to harp on them putting in Cosmodrome, not doing much with it, and recycling things because they did up add some stuff too. But they got some work to do, in my opinion. I think I really enjoyed the raid and everything about this Beyond Light DLC, but they still have a lot of work to do. And to the point where I feel like yes, this is what I'm used to. This is what I want to see. But as of now, I'm just going to give them their praises and leave it at that. Good job, Bungie. Good job. I really, if you guys already have a Series X or if you got a PS5, I really think it's one of those games that you should just try out because the gameplay is always going to be great. It's free to play, and I think they really do a good job with the artistic direction. And now you can actually see it. Boy, it's nice. It is nice. Um, but yeah, any last things before we go? We about to hit that mark. I ain't really got much else to talk about outside of more Cyberpunk, but I'd rather play it and talk about it. To be honest.
No, I guess. What about you, Jalen? Is there? I know that you never said that you plan on playing like Cyberpunk, but what have you? What's your impressions of it so far from the little stuff you've seen?
Oh shoot.
I mean, it seemed like a cool game. I don't know. I didn't really see much about it, to be honest with you. Truth be told, I really haven't like been on the internet. So like
Hmm.
so just looking at stuff. I mean, I've been on social media a little bit, but I mean, Yeah, I don't know, bro. I've been in space, so
Yeah.
I ain't got much impressions about it. I did see on Facebook they made that joke about the character customization, how it was like really good and really in depth and stuff. So I think that's pretty sweet. But I never really looked into the game. Honestly,
Yeah.
the game was I knew a little bit about the game because I know like y'all talk about it in the group chat and stuff like that. But I can't say I looked at any gameplay or had intentions on getting the game.
Hmm.
But I mean, clearly I'm just in a different space and I'm just like focusing on school and stuff too. So that could be a heavy factor.
Nah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those games that's like good, but I don't think it appeals to everybody. Kind of like The Witcher. Like me and Deontay enjoy The Witcher, and there might be some things that you'll like about it. Oh, my bad. My mic having issues. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll just wrap up. I was gonna say like you might enjoy The Witcher as well, but it's a long game that might not be your preference. So it's an interesting world, though. You probably see a lot more about it over the next few months.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably one of those games that you more than likely. It's kind of like what would I say? Because I mean, it's definitely a game that I feel like people should play, but it's not like it's it. You're right. It's not for everybody. I think it has a lot of interesting elements of a lot of games that we kind of play now and enjoy. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of the RPG element stuff that you'll probably like. A lot of the storytelling, I'm not sure if you that in depth into it because I think more so you kind of more so enjoy the characters that the world builds around your character, and I think Cyberpunk is more so your character is shaped by the world that surrounds you versus the other way around. Like you like those hero type games like Final Fantasy, where it's pretty much a lot of the stuff that's impacted is focused around that main character. It is, but it's not. It's like the world's going to do what it's going to do. You just in it, and that's what may be the difference there. Kind of like Spider-Man is kind of like more so that the world is shaped around the hero versus this game is a little bit different, has a different approach. It's the similar, but the approach is different. So I'm not sure if again that may be something that you might not enjoy about it. But I think overall, once the polish gets there, it'll be a worthwhile 22 hours to go through because even if you don't play all the extra stuff, it's only 22 hours to get through the entire, first part of the game and actually get to the ending. So for that amount of time, I guess, an investment there, because I know that's a big thing for you. Probably, I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the game looked like it. I mean, I yeah, I feel like it'd be a game that I like would enjoy or something like that. It's just like you said, it's just that timepiece. Like I still got Ghost of Tsushima and
You ain't
I ain't
touched
cut
it
it
yet.
all. Yeah, I just cut the game on, play for like 10 minutes, cut it back off, and do that periodically. That's kind of the reason I got Crash. I mean, so I ain't have to go to Overwatch. I can go play Crash and then just play like a level. And I had to
Yeah,
use my Best Buy certificate thing before it expired, but hop on there, go play like a level or something like that, get back off. Just things like that. So just kind of quick in and out type of, you know.
yeah. No, I get
Well,
what
it's
you're
good.
saying.
We're gonna be able to play the Cyberpunk multiplayer when that come out in 3 years.
You think
Huh?
they're gonna have a multiplayer? I doubt it.
Y'all
They
keep
announced
pushing it
it.
back.
They did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They might cancel it. Who knows? But they announced it that there will be a separate multiplayer thing for free with the game.
Oh wow. I mean,
But
with all that
they've
animation
already
work,
been
I would
said,
think so.
yeah, they already been said it's gonna take a lot longer.
Hmm.
So the game is gonna come out and the multiplayer is not gonna be out for more than a year. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys for listening. As usual, this is the House of Wolves podcast, where we talk about those nothing but gaming news. Really, we talk about other stuff, but it's really focused solely around gaming. We do this every 2 weeks, and I will be throwing these up on the BCD Universe YouTube channel moving forward. So that's where you'll always be able to find it, but they're also going to be on where you can, your most favorite platform for podcasting. But again, thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one.